friends, this is Emily with burlapkitchen.com, where I'm all about simplicity. Today we're going to be making a cute fabric Santa, no-sew fabric Santa, using some fabric bond, hot glue sticks, some blush, some Spanish moss, some cute fabric, and a few other supplies. So the first thing you're going to want to do is fold your fabric in half and cut out a triangle. You can make these triangles as big or as small as you want them, depending on the size that you want your Santa to be. So ideally I would have used double-sided fabric, but I actually bought this fabric at Joann Fabrics the other day and I love it, so this is what I wanted to use. So I'm just going to have to go ahead and make sure that the good side of my fabric is facing the inside, because we're going to go ahead and flip that. So when I'm doing projects like this, I always have two hot glue guns. I have one for the fabric bond hot glue stick and then one with a regular clear glue stick, because the fabric bond dries white, but it is better when you're working with fabric. So I'm just going to glue down both sides of my triangle. And I am using a finger protector. This fabric bond gets super hot, so I would recommend that. One of my sweet followers sent that to me, so I just love it. I've been using it lately and it is awesome. So I'm just going to tap that down and make sure everything is nice and dry. And then down at the bottom, we're gonna glue just a little bit over. We want to leave probably about a 1 to 2 inch gap down at the bottom, maybe a 2-inch gap, because we're gonna flip all this inside out. So now that we're gonna flip it inside out, it looks like you sewed it. Now, if you are someone who sews, you could absolutely do this project with a sewing machine. But me, I don't sew. I don't know how to sew, so fabric bond hot glue is the perfect solution for me. So you're going to want to take I took the little stick that they put in the polyfill bags and poke out those corners good. Just make sure you get all of your corners poked out, and then you'll have a little triangle. Now I'm just going to stuff it with polyfill. Make sure you get in the corners really good. Actually, I don't think this is polyfill. This is from an old pillow. I'm sure it's some sort of a polyfill, actually, but this is from an old pillow I had on hand. I just ripped it open and used that rather than buying new. So you want to make sure that you get all your stuffing into the corners really good. And then I'm just going to fold this flap down over and hot glue it. Now this part is really tricky, and I almost always burn myself doing this, so be super careful on this part. And you can see you want to glue it on the back. That way the white glue is on the back and not the front of your project. Now I'm just going to take a piece of drop cloth. If you don't have drop cloth, burlap would work well, or maybe an old t-shirt and coffee dye it. Look in your fabric bin, see what you can find. I'm sure you'd have something that would work for this. So I'm just going to cut sort of like a half moon shape for the face, and I'm just going to trim it down until I get it to look the way that I want. And now I'm taking a microfiber cloth. I found this at the Dollar Tree, that little white strip. Let me glue this down here real quick first. This is just the drop cloth I'm gluing down. You can find that at Lowe's and with the paint section. Now this is the microfiber cloth. You can get those at the Dollar Tree in the, I guess, car section you'd want to call it. They're super awesome to keep on hand for crafting, especially for Santas and stuff like that. So I'm using that as the rim of his hat. And then I'm going to take some Spanish moss, and that's going to be his beard. If you don't like Spanish moss, I know you can get mop heads at Dollar Tree. I think they would work well for this project. And you do have to kind of fiddle with the Spanish moss, and you're going to have to trim it down and keep adding more just to get it to look the way that you want. And give them a little trim with your scissors. I'm going to take 2 buttons for his eyes and just glue them down. Just like that. And now I'm just using a wood bead for his nose. Sometimes I make a nose and sometimes I don't. It just depends. That's totally up to you. And of course you guys knew I had to give him some rosy cheeks, right? So I'm just going to use some blush and a Q-tip and just work that into a circular motion to give him some cheeks. Now we're going to take a piece of twine And I'm just going to tie that at the tip of his hat. And you guys could really dress this Santa up as much or as little as you want. This is just a base idea for you. There's so many different ways you could do him. So I'm just going to add a jingle bell on there, and then I'm just going to add a real simple little bow. And we're going to trim this twine up. And I'm going to hot glue it just so it stays in place the way that I want it to. That looks pretty good to me, and that is it, guys. Now, in the final actually, no, that's not it. I take it back. So we're going to add real quickly I got this pick at Walmart today, actually. And I'm just going to add a little bit of greenery to the top of his hat. Ideally, I would have added a little snowflake on top of that or some sort of embellishment. But I told myself I wasn't going to get no more craft supplies until I used some up. So I'm showing you a final picture of a few that I did before, just so you guys can get a different idea of what it would look like with different noses, different material, big, small. The bigger one has a burlap face. So these are super cute to make. I hope you guys enjoyed this project as much as I did. For more great ideas just like this one, please visit burlapkitchen.com. Thank you.